Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I know what you're going to say already.
Tweeted today, making a bear run in the Ford Focus on the mean streets of L.A. Hump day, almost there. And it's him rocking a University of Alabama mask.
That gotta hurt your soul, right?
It tears at me in two directions, because on the one hand, it's like, I can abide a Texas mask. They're not in the same conference. He's from, he's Stone Cold. He's not Stone Cold Steve Alabama.
That's what shocked me about it.
Yeah.
Well, he went with the better, more popular team, so that's
Yeah. Well, I think he went into greater detail on Instagram. He said a friend made it for him, but she made it too tight and his ears were like hurting. So he thinks that she did it to fuck with him, because the friend who made it for him is a Clemson fan.
They made my ears crimson red.
Yeah.
Crimson red teddy. Drunk all day. All day drunk.
But the best part is that, down in the Menchies, somebody, MMA Han 51 says, that mask goes against your reputation. Stay strong, be a rebel, and do not conform. Cool mask, but strip off the communism. To which
what does that mean?
I don't know.
He doesn't know Stone Cold Steve Austin is a character.
Right.
That's exactly what it means.
He's another lonely fucking idiot who's stuck at home being like, I have a voice now through Twitter.
Yeah.
That's the saddest part about people like him who don't understand the things they see on TV from wrestlers, like that wrestler didn't actually steal the other wrestler's girlfriend, shit like that.
Well, this was real. Stone Cold did respond to him. So yeah, he says, cool mask, but strip off the communism. And Stone Cold just says, shut up, dude. Which, normally on this show, this is the Corona Diaries, so we'd play the Minutemen. But today, goddammit, there's only one way to start this motherfucker.
Yeah. Also by the Minutemen.
Yeah, also by the Minutemen.
San Pedro's best, man.
Man.
Who played the cover of this on the covers album?
Saliva.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And there's a music video to go along with it where they're playing on top of a building and Stone Cold is like rampaging through the city as like a Godzilla kind of, but he doesn't do any destruction. He's just kind of like looking at the band, but he's like 200 feet tall.
It does make sense that a COVID truther wouldn't understand that Stone Cold's not a real person.
Yeah. That's Steve Williams. Just also he's
that COVID truther. That's a new thing now, right?
I've been saying it.
I think that's going to catch.
Yeah, of course
it makes sense.
Yeah.
9/11 truther, COVID truther, probably one and the same person.
And
a lot of the time, I bet that's the case.
Well, and here's the thing, wearing a mask is common sense, and that does not go against the reputation of a badass for me,
No.
It's just common sense, especially, Steve Austin, he's what, mid-50s? He's kind of getting close to that range. You got to be worried about
alcoholics.
If you really studied Stone Cold Steve Austin, you'd know he's smart and calculated.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, he's charismatic and he doesn't he doesn't sully the waters with his fan base is by and large probably a bunch of conservative morons, but he doesn't go out and spout conservative rhetoric.
Yeah.
Because he knows where his fucking, which side his bread is buttered on.
Yeah, exactly. He's the guy who stunnered Donald Trump,
Yeah.
He doesn't talk about that
Vince
shit.
McMahon, Linda McMahon, all the people who really deserve a stunner.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite, memes from whenever they brought Triple H and Vince and all them to meet Trump. It was like everyone in this photo has been stunned by Stone Cold Steve Austin, including the president.
They had him down in Guantanamo stunning people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But what I was going to say is that doesn't cut against the man's reputation. Not for me. If anything does, it's the little detail that this guy failed to mention, which is Stone Cold's driving a Ford Focus.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's just funny to me.
Smart. He does not to waste his gas money on some Hummer.
Exactly.
Stone Cold is Steve. What's his name?
Steve Williams.
Steve Williams.
Yeah.
Is a smart man who likes to do yoga and shit. And he's like, whatever if people need to hear I'm getting drunk, then I guess I'm getting drunk.
Yeah. Well,
he drives a Ford Focus and lives a real. People are just like, why don't you be a badass? And
it's like, well, it's an economic vehicle. I'm trying to save money.
Yeah.
There was some story in Mankind's book about him and Stone Cold having a who's the cheapest contest, and they said that in an entire week, aside from, and they didn't count hotel and gas, outside of hotel and gas, I think Mick Foley spent like $5 and Stone Cold spent $4 in a week in like the early 90s, which is that's still only like $10-12 in a week.
Yeah.
We weren't making nothing.
Yeah, so
I mean, if you are smart with those first couple dollars, then you got some spending money.
yeah, and if you're driving a Ford Focus, man, they get good gas, you know.
And
but-
you're not counting gas, so
Yeah.
it's perfect.
I mean, you know,
You can buy a Snickers.
I think he has a very well crafted image that he is good at upholding.
Absolutely.
Also, if you're good at dining and dashing, maybe Stone Cold was doing that.
I do love listening to him talk about like getting through his day. It is,
Yeah.
I listen to it for like hours on me and Birmingham's own Narado Moore listen to his podcast about the whole way from there to Arkansas, and I didn't get tired of it. I'll say
It's
that.
interesting.
By the way, do we should we talk about as long as we're talking about angry fucking people? We're going to talk about Bando for a second.
Oh, God, yeah.
All right, I'm gonna check out right here.
Well, we should say we've got
Carter sent us this video last night.
I did nothing of the sort. I am no way involved.
We've got some hot odd. If people aren't all caught up on the past couple of episodes, there's a psychotic man in Long Beach running a real in-person open mic.
Yeah.
And we may, or I should say I, may or may not have filled up his online sign-up sheet with ridiculous names.
She now wants to kill me for.
Which now he wants to kill Sam for, because Sam made fun of him and he doesn't know who I am. But we did get hot off his Instagram. We got his comedy set.
This isn't his comedy set.
Or the preamble to the comedy set.
He purposely live streamed this because he wanted people like us who have been...
Oh, this is for the haters.
Yeah, this is for the haters.
Boy.
What the fuck's going on? I know there's no fucking pandemic. I can analyze and interpret fucking data. I'm a fucking smart individual. I'm fucking intelligent. Many of the
You know when the smart people, how they yell that they're really smart?
Just let it keep playing.
people I already fucking follow on
Because it just gets more and more unhinged.
are being censored now. So I respected these people for the last 5 fucking years. And they're being fucking censored what they say. And these aren't quacks. These are critical thinking, intelligent fucking people. This is bullshit. We don't just get the fucking... When the fuck did leftists and liberals start bowing down to the fucking establishment? That's what I want to fucking know.
Okay, stop it now. Does this guy think he's a liberal?
I don't know. He posts like Trump memes nonstop.
Okay.
So I don't know. I think he's talking about us.
Yeah, I mean, I assumed that.
He
as
is?
well. Yeah.
I mean,
Does he
just,
listen to the show?
No. Yeah, lock your windows. He's coming.
Oh, boy.
Bando's coming. No, I think he. When I say us, I mean he's talking to the
Collective.
the comedy community writ
Yeah.
large. All the pussies that won't come to his his mic with 4 people there.
Well, in this video, there's nobody. You can see 2 empty chairs.
Pussies. That's what I want to know. You're on your little Zoom video chat. It's not stand-up fucking comedy.
You hear that, Carter?
Get your fucking delusions
Yeah.
out of your head.
Shoot.
That's not stand-up comedy. Stand-up comedy is getting in a fucking room and saying offensive things and dangerous things in front of strangers and other like-minded individuals. It's about fucking being dangerous. Lenny Bruce fucking was arrested and had a heroin overdose because his passion was to fucking break through those fucking barriers that existed. in the
Okay. He said Lenny Bruce died of a heroin overdose because he wanted his passion for comedy
To break through to people in the 50s.
That is not why you overdose on heroin. You're not like, I'm about to make a good point right here.
Yeah, I believe it had more to do with him hanging out with too many jazz people in the East Village, but more than his really willing to, his needing to break through to the other side.
I mean, this guy, I'm convinced. Do you think he's right, you know?
50s, and now it's up to us to keep that shit going. I don't buy the fucking narratives. I don't buy the fucking bullshit because I'm fucking smart and I can see through things. I
You all know how Albert Einstein went around yelling, "I'm smart!"
Well.
analyze and interpret real data. I do what's effective to get the fucking objective done. And I don't do
I I was really debating getting high before this, and I'm so glad I didn't.
Yeah, I'm getting less and less high with every second.
He has an effective objective, and he can analyze data. Okay.
I always wonder, like, the COVID truthers, where are they getting their real data from?
Oh man,
Because I mean, I don't trust.
You ever heard of a thing called a hunch?
Have you ever heard of Stormfront.com?
Down to no fucking authority that tells me I'm gonna fucking not go to work and tells me I'm gonna fucking ruin my fucking financial security. Fuck that. The food
And work for who?
small businesses everywhere will be fucking shut down in months. And if you don't fucking see that, you're a fucking moron.
He is.
Right about everything.
Well, I would say the new 5 minutes is very good.
this is a hot five.
He's passionate.
It's a hot five, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you catch all the jokes in there?
Oh, the best, dude. The joke that he ends on is outstanding.
Uh-huh.
And fucking do some research. Better people than us had no technology and did the research and made educated decisions.
The Romans did the research, guys.
You make me sick. That's reality.
This sounds like the Mel Gibson tape to his wife. Is like, I expect you to blow me. It's first.
It's very wrestler promo. Like,
It
it's
is.
super wrestler
Well,
promo.
if you see the video of it, it is very like he
Oh, yeah.
takes the whole posture. He's on like you know how when you go to bad shows, there's like a pallet to stand on.
Yeah.
Like he's on like that size of a stage, and he's trying to like
Yeah.
go back and forth.
He's literally on a soapbox.
yeah.
You're a bunch of fucking pussies and posers.
Goodness.
You want to talk shit to me for opening up my space to free-thinking adult individuals who want to assess the risk and the reward and make a goddamn decision for themselves whether they can go in a room with 10 other human beings.
What if you've never signed up for this mic and then you just like saw this online and you go, I want to go to an open mic, and then this is your like first time just being around any of this?
In a fucking setting like this, they should be allowed to make that decision on their fucking own. Without shame, without ridicule from the fucking Zoom mic fucking posers.
That's us.
Alright,
Cheapers.
that's my fucking stance. I've taken enough shit from all you fucking people. All you fucking nobodies who think you're somebody.
I love that part.
That's LA, baby.
Agreeable with me about the virus itself and the pandemic, but won't come out because you're afraid of what people will think? You're worse. Grow a spine. Get some passion. Be a fucking human being. Be an individual. Make up your mind for yourself. Don't be afraid to weed out fake friends. You don't need those fucking...
Dude, the fact that he called out fake friends is so great.
He's doing the thing people like this do where they're just like rearranging the whole narrative of the situation, where it's just people being like, I don't feel safe going there just for like, hygiene reasons.
Yeah.
And him going, they're just a bunch of pussies. They're scared of what people are going to think of them.
Yeah.
They're fucking nobodies who think they're somebodies. It's like, that's not what's happening.
Also, I think you're kind of telling on yourself. Too,
Yeah.
a little bit there.
Yeah.
people. It's a fucking scene, just like any other fucking scene. You want to bow down to the fucking scenesters in your scene, or you want to be a fucking real individual? That's up to you. That's up to you. But you have to sleep at night. Alright, I'm done ranting. I'm
This
pissed
is
off.
the best part.
I'm gonna end this live video and I'm gonna fucking do comedy now.
Oh, boy.
Sounds better, and we're gonna shake hands, maybe even hug, because I will never fear my fellow human being or be fucking told by any authority that I can't be within 6 feet of another human.
Self-righteousness is a hell of a drug.
It's the key to the human experience. We will fucking die.
I like how Carter legitimately did try to not get involved, but this is so crazy you can't just sit there and say
I don't want to
nothing.
fucking talk about this guy. It's
know.
like, you ever heard the whole, like, if you fucking argue with fools from a distance, you can't tell who's who? Like, it's,
Yeah, but you could play their stuff and laugh.
Yeah, I'm not
Just give
arguing
him-
with him.
No, I'm not arguing with him either. I think it's funny. I really love the part where he's screaming at everybody for 4 minutes straight, and then he goes, all right, now we're going to do some comedy! funny.
Yeah, dude. That's
That's why I said he lands strong. You know, they say if you got a long ass joke, you gotta hit it.
What
hard
do
at
you
the
think
end.
he talked about after that?
Dude, there's
the difference between cats
Par-
and dogs.
I hope
or-
so.
Parking.
I
Yeah.
hope
A lot of different. There's a lot of difficulty in parking around Los Angeles.
I hope he goes from that, that anger level to like, my girlfriend does this really funny thing and just changes tone altogether.
Uh-huh.
By the way, update on on the show Friday, I made the statement that I had not run into any sort of psychos at the grocery store.
Oh yeah.
Man,
Things done changed.
things done changed.
Shit done changed.
I was at Walmart. I was making a big run. Had a bunch of shit in my cart, and they make you stand 6 feet apart. And so there was me, and there was 3 people in front of me, and one of them was getting checked out. It was a lady with a kid, and she had a huge basket full of shit. There was a man standing behind her who was he's either a doctor or a nurse. He was wearing like hospital scrubs. I think a doctor because he had his like name embroidered and shit on there.
Okay, yeah.
And then behind him in front of me, there was a guy who just had a bottle of wine and a thing of Ben and Jerry's.
Oh yeah.
And then I had my big ass cart behind him. And so as it was moving, because it was 6 feet apart, I couldn't really tell what was going on. I know I said, I'm like, I kind of want to see one because I want to say some shit, but I didn't know that it was a fight until it was over because I couldn't really see what was happening. But basically, this woman who's getting checked out forgot something and was just like, oh my God, I forgot I need to get a thing. And it was from the makeup aisle. Which is annoying, but at the same time, it's kind of like, all right, everybody's frazzled right now, whatever.
Yeah.
And so this guy standing behind her who was a fucking doctor, or at the very least worked in the, in a medical profession, was like, oh, that's fine. That's cool. And the dude with the wine and the Ben and Jerry's got in her fucking face. like walked over there and was just like fucking giving her the business.
It is annoying, but
It's annoying,
who
but
cares?
it's like, dude, you just go to the self-checkout if you got a bottle of wine and a fucking Ben and Jerry's, you dick. But he was like yelling at the lady, he was yelling at the doctor, and then he was yelling at the cashier and shit like that. And then kind of just like
Did he still buy the stuff?
Yeah, the doctor guy who would let the lady, go back to get the makeup or whatever was just like, get in front of me too, man. If you're really that fucking upset about this doctor was a fucking saint, man.
Yeah.
And then the cashier, by the time I got up there, because then I kind of like after he had already like stormed off, that was when I figured out. I was like, oh, it was like some shit was happening, So when I actually got up there, the cashier was still like shaking and shit like that. Like he'd like freaked her out, I think.
Yeah, because in the situations like that where you have a job where you're interacting with strangers, you don't know, especially in LA, who could be completely deranged, like would strike you over nothing.
Oh yeah, well this is like Burbank too. This is like where like the biggest shitheads live.
A lot of shitheads do live up there.
Yeah. So this is like this is
what time was he buying wine at?
About like 5:15.
Okay.
I think he'd probably just gotten off of work and was want to unwind a little bit. But yeah, I did get up to the cashier and I was just trying to talk to her because I wanted to be a goss and I was wanting to get some what was happening. She told me what the situation was.
Oh my gosh, ma'am, you seem frazzled. What has happened? Were you trying to be like nice, or were you just like, what the fuck just happened?
No,
that was some crazy shit, huh?
About half and half. I was like, oh man, what was that guy's deal? Like that, and then I gave her I tipped her like $5 just because I was like when you get off, you get you some Ben and Jerry's too.
Yeah.
And she laughed and was like, okay, cool. So, but
Did you get her number?
Huh? No, actually,
that's a Mac move, dude.
Yeah, that would.
Carter taught me that one.
What did I teach?
He tipped the woman $5 who had just been in distress with a customer.
Oh yeah, that's like the bless your heart tip.
Hey man, that was all the cash I had.
No, it's very nice. I think that's. I mean, shit. Who else tips grocers? You know
well, this
what I mean?
woman was shaking. Like she was like,
And
fuck.
she's like, I have to deal with this bullshit.
And she was like, and I don't get off till like 11:30 or something. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, your life sucks ass. Yeah,
yeah, that blows. I mean, yeah, people are like taking out their frustrations on, I mean, like they're completely lack any self awareness, especially now.
Yeah.
being around like these people who have to be there and put up with their bullshit. Like they make these like, you know, like you said, these like stupid purchases they don't need to make just because they're like, I'm tired of being in my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, good on you. I mean,
Yeah,
that sucks for her that she had to work there and witness that stupid shit.
I mean, to get yelled at by a grown man holding ice cream,
Yeah.
you're like, you're a child. You're
Yeah.
a fucking baby.
What's really it sucks is like these people need to be paid hazard pay. Like
Of
this
course,
is
God,
not like
yeah.
this whole like having to like fucking deal with this shit every day, and there's no
Yeah.
there's no time where I mean, you know, it's everyone's walking around like half like drunk on paranoia, so it's like this
Right.
could happen at any moment.
Well, and this is Walmart too, so they should have been getting hazard pay before the virus.
I
'cause it's
forgot.
already full of.
we all
crazy
know how good
people.
they are to their employees.
Right.
The funniest part of all this is he was yelling at people in a mask.
Yeah,
That's so funny.
and just also like actively like getting in front of a doctor to yell at a guy. It's like, man, why did you? All right,
Yeah,
you know,
Jesus Christ.
strategy. If I'm in the grocery store and I have 3 items, guess what? I don't get behind 2 fucking huge carts full of shit. It's like I don't know. It only works one way.
Yeah, I just it's like a lot of people are going to get upset about like I miss the way things were. Like if they were like that before this, it's like cranked up to 11.
Yeah. Make
yeah.
America great again.
yeah.
Seems pretty great now. But yeah, I don't know. But that was my big thing for the week. Except, well, I did. I told this to Carter already. I called my mom on Mother's Day.
Gail?
Called Gail, said what's up, and she was working at this. She's an antique dealer. She was working at an estate sale, pricing stuff out, and she had figured out. The previous time that I had talked to her, she was asking me about something called Google Lens, which is like an app that you can take a picture of something and it'll tell you what it is and how much it's worth. Which I guess all the antique dealers use to figure out like, oh, what's this vase, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And she was asking me about it the first time she called, and I was like, I've never even heard of it, so can't help you. Sorry. I called her on Mother's Day. She's like, "Oh, I figured out Google Lens." And the previous call she had been at, the picture that she sent me that she was wondering about, it was this item that was it was like a spoon that had like a long kind of like half tube on the end of it. She was like, "What is this thing?" I was like, "I've never seen anything like that." But I called her on Mother's Day, and she was kind of giving me a tour of the house with her phone. Like FaceTimed her, and she was like showing me around and stuff. And we go into she walks into the kitchen, and these people had a his and hers stove. They had 2 stoves side by side.
Whoa.
And I was like, wait a minute, is that 2
Were
stoves?
they blue and pink?
No, they were just 2 identical white stoves next to each other, and I was like, is that 2 stoves? And my mom was like, oh yeah, these were like very fat people. They have 2 stoves. She goes, they
so
have
mean, Gail.
She goes, they have 2 stoves and 4 fridges.
Jesus.
And then and I was like, fuck me, that's crazy. And she goes, oh, and I found out what that little like spoon thing I texted you a picture of. I was like, what is it? She was like, oh, it's a bone marrow spoon. It's so you can scrape bone marrow when you're done eating. I was like, Jesus,
Because you're not done.
Yeah, you're not done when you hit the bones, baby. You can keep going.
They're eating some nice cuts of beef, some osso buco, some real good stuff.
I just like that. Yeah, they were like, well, I'm finished. And the wife is like, no, you're not. Here's your bone marrow spoon. Now it's
When you
time
said
to-
that, I imagined like one of those milkshake spoons that has a straw,
It almost looks like an ice scooper, but like extremely long. Like a
Okay.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
hard to describe.
Yikes.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah. So that was the update from home, was that Mom was working for some people who like to fucking eat, man.
I mean, yeah, it's like that Bill Hicks bit where it's like, dude, I go through 2 lighters a day. It's like you eat so much, you go through 2 stoves a day. That's crazy.
That's funny they wouldn't have just told him like, oh yeah, there's a large family here. Like whoever's running their estate were like, they were some fucking lard asses.
It wasn't a large family. It was 2 people.
I know.
There was no children.
It was 2 people having the time of their life. Free of society's judgments.
Yeah.
Speaking of judgments, I wanted to talk about the UFC referee controversy.
Oh yeah.
What's the controversy?
On Saturday, there was a fight, and a guy lost by TKO, ref stoppage, and he thought it was premature. Like he argued it as soon as it happened, and it was I thought it was legitimate. Anyways, he was interviewed the next day, and he claimed that the ref who stopped the fight too early smelled like cigarettes and alcohol. Which is the best excuse I've ever heard for
Yeah, he's been out sinning.
yeah. But also, I don't know. It's kind of, that means he would have been out smoking and drinking in his referee uniform.
Yeah.
That's like the only explanation for that.
What kind of bullshit is that? Is he complaining about the ref cursing or something? This is UFC. This is a soulless corporation that doesn't care about anything but brutality and money.
Yeah.
Like, there's like, why the fuck? Like, what kind of bullshit request is that?
Yeah, I don't. It's just, it's weird to even accuse. You know, you already seem like a sore loser when you complain about a ref stoppage when you lost the fight.
Yeah.
But then also be like, he was drunk.
Yeah.
That's why I lost.
He smelled like a street festival.
And then tonight,
The opposite happened.
sort of. That same ref, missed a submission, a tap out. A guy clearly tapped out.
Oh, it was the same fucking ref?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
and this guy got his knee just fucking shredded because of it.
Is this ref perhaps worried about his own health? Is he perhaps like, maybe we shouldn't be fucking doing this?
I don't know. I don't think the second time letting the guy's knee get destroyed. I don't think so. I think
Seems like he's distracted more than just like trying to throw the game.
Yeah, he might just be bad at it. But there is several bad things tonight where there's just like, well, that could have been stopped 10 minutes ago, shit like that.
Yeah, he's too busy filling out his will. It's like, I have to die doing this dumb shit to nobody.
The thing is, every ref who's doing it wants to be there. They're not fucking like assigning them to it and being like, you have to do this or we'll take away your ref license.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah, that's so the guy's all over the map.
He's hitting the sauce both nights, making all sorts of controversial decisions.
Yeah. Didn't like, yeah, you said like the last fight was just the guy was unconscious and then just.
He got hit with one of those punches where he's dropped to the ground and the other guy's just wailing on him and the ref was just like sitting there watching it. You know, like
that seems like it's
MMA
kind of it.
is so disgusting sometimes and I fucking love it, but oh boy, there's some fucking issues with it.
Maybe it's like, I don't know, like they get drunk all the time for these big events and it's like just so much more apparent when there's no crowd there.
That might be a fucking,
It's like, I always get a little sauced up before I'd have to do this shit.
that may be true. Nobody can. It just smells like booze in the arena when there's 15,000 people and they're pounding beers.
Yeah.
When it's just that guy, it smells like a fucking bar.
But yeah, there was the ref tonight. Just like, and the thing is, I like boxing too. And boxing, if one of the fighters like is getting overwhelmed and kind of just stops throwing punches back because he's just going totally defensive but still getting hit, they'll be like, okay, the fight's stopped now.
Yeah.
Start punching back or I'm going to stop the fight.
Right.
And then they just stop the fight. They're not like, this man needs to have his teeth knocked out while he's unconscious.
Right.
That's how I know he lost.
If he doesn't blink when I piss on his face, then he's out. Well, it's a penalty. I have to tinkle on his face for a good 20 seconds. And if he doesn't flinch,
Speaking of places you're allowed to urinate.
Oh,
Should
God.
we talk about this, fellas?
bottles.
The notice?
Yeah, did you hear about this, Carter?
It was about the pool.
No, we got a new
third-
one.
Oh yeah, about the
Notice.
garage parties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No
yeah.
more garage parties, and specifically, no more urination in the garage.
Yeah.
I feel like that hasn't been happening.
No,
during
that one,
quarantine.
of all the weird shit, that one actually has not been happening recently. I was telling Sam, I was like, that is more of a 2012 through 2019 problem.
Yeah.
I haven't actually seen that this year yet, I don't think.
I haven't personally seen it, but I've definitely seen all of that stuff before.
Yeah, well, we talked about it with
Yeah.
MK yesterday. Like, they be having parties down there.
Yeah, but I definitely have seen dudes in there pissing. So have my roommates.
Yeah?
And I've definitely walked down there and there's just been like a fucking pool of urine just washing through the middle of the fucking
That
garage.
doesn't surprise me. Yeah, like
And the fucked up part is it's people who live here.
Oh,
They're
see, I
getting
was-
so trashed they just don't want to walk upstairs, and they want to get so drunk they know they can't do it in front of their wife and child because they know it's fucking heinous. You know,
it's more like you're in the doghouse. After that, the doghouse apparently being the porch.
Yeah.
their parking space.
And you're going to piss outside like a dog.
Yeah.
That's right, into a bottle.
Yeah.
like everybody else.
But yeah,
I mean, I've been doing that here for months.
but yeah, we got a notification today on our door about that.
Why do they give them to everybody? They know exactly who are doing these
It's a did you bring enough gum for everyone kind of situation. And, you know, we all got to take the slap on the wrist. I mean, I was trying to get together a big, you know, open mic to have in the garage.
I was fucking...
I recorded an angry video of myself doing stand-up to promote it. We just played it a minute ago.
I was saving up a big fat asparagus piss to go...
a stinky one.
Yeah, to go just unload down there.
They still
with
haven't
my boys.
They still haven't said we can't do a show in the laundry room.
Are we allowed to piss down the staircase still? Because I enjoy doing that.
I got one fun news story to read from Lakeland, Florida. The Polk County Sheriff's Office is trying to identify a man who was caught on surveillance video attacking another customer at a liquor store in Lakeland. The attack happened at Publix liquor store around 12:30 p.m. Saturday. So just afternoon, drinking just afternoon on a Saturday. According to deputies, the attack stemmed from the suspect getting upset that the victim didn't thank him for holding the door open.
Yikes.
Yeah.
The victim told deputies that he walked into the liquor store while the suspect held the door open. The suspect then reportedly asked, "You don't say thank you to people who hold the door open for you?" And the victim said that he responded by saying, "Thank you." The two,
Oh, sorry. Thank you.
oh, sorry, thanks.
The exact thing that would just piss that guy off.
Oh, now you're mocking me?
The two men are seen in the video walking to different parts of the liquor store after the initial confrontation, and deputies say that the victim claims the suspect then continued to, quote, express his anger from the adjacent aisle. According to the victim, the suspect told him, quote, "I'll kick your ass if you say another word."
This is why I never hold the door open for anybody.
This is why you never do anything
And if someone
nice.
tries to hold the door open for me, I kick them in the nuts immediately, or just crotch,
This is
whatever.
why I stopped drinking and hate being around drunk people. Because this is just encapsulates
This is at 12:30
the
too.
biggest problem with drunk people.
The guy says, "I'll kick your ass if you say another word." The victim told deputies that he replied by saying, "Another word."
Maybe this guy was fucking with him the first thank you.
Yeah, maybe these two guys were actually 8 years old. Another word.
That's when deputies say the suspect quickly walked around the aisle, approached the victim, and started beating him up. The surveillance video shows the suspect repeatedly hit the victim and knocking the man's hat off. A third man who was in the store with the suspect was eventually able to pull the suspect away from the victim. The video shows the victim and the suspect giving each other the middle finger as the suspect leaves the store.
Like you do.
I know.
You want mercy? Take your ass to church.
This is from the sheriff.
Yeah, does it say if they were trying to buy a Stone Cold 6-pack?
The sheriff says, "Come on, man, what are you thinking? Get you a bottle of liquor, go back to the house, have you a drink." But no, they had to have a kerfuffle right there in the middle of the store.
Damn, you hate to see that.
You hate to see a damn kerfuffle.
Wait, where did that happen again?
Lakeland, Florida.
Oh, fucking of course.
Yeah.
Is Florida supposed to? Are parts of it supposed to be nice? Like, I know Miami. Like, you know,
These are interior. Like, the further you get away from the beach, the weirder shit gets.
I heard on a podcast, like some headliner was talking, and he was just like, every comic I know hates going to Florida.
Yeah.
It's just like a drunk fucking piss show all the time.
Gallagher said that.
Yeah.
Shout out to everybody listening in Florida. I know we've got some listeners down there. But,
I've been there before, and I thought it was fun. I was younger. Then I found out my fucking aunt made all her kids sleep with a knife in their room because she was so fucking scared of like the crime or something.
Maybe it's just living there. I don't know. I mean, I've been through there and had a good time. Like,
yeah.
like toured through there and with for music stuff. That was fun. And like, I don't know, like death metal comes from there. A lot of good death metal.
Yeah, obviously, yeah, because it's fucking
Good things have come from there.
It's very sketchy.
My favorite band is from there. Well, current favorite band.
What is it?
Torch. They're this band from Orlando. They fucking rule.
I was going to say, Tom Petty is from Gainesville.
Tom Petty.
Yep.
You know, a lot of good bands from Gainesville.
Skynyrd.
Skynyrd.
Yeah.
You know, like every first wave American death metal band is from Florida.
Creed. Limp Bizkit.
Creed. Yeah. Then you get into the Creeds, your Limp Bizkits. You know.
When I was in Florida, one of my memories is that like my family in Florida was like pretty well off. They own like a flower nursery, which would actually end up fucking them because every time there's a hurricane, it would just break every fucking pane of glass in the greenhouse.
Yeah.
But so they lived in like a nice area, had like a boat, and we went out on the boat. And then there's all these like lobster traps on the fucking like in the ocean.
Yeah.
And we were like next to one, and then my dad went to go like fuck with it, and my uncle was like, don't touch those because legally whoever's traps those are could shoot you if you're touching them. And then my dad just started touching him because he's a fucking psycho. And I just remember being a kid and just being like, what the fuck are you doing? And he like ripped it up and there's like, there's no lobster in here. My dad's a fucking idiot. Just wanted to tell that story.
I think that's an episode of Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of which, dude, Jerry Stiller.
Oh yeah, R.I.P.
R.I.P. Man. God, he was so fucking funny in everything he's ever been in.
That's true.
Maybe a lot of people have seen it. Maybe not a lot. Heavyweights. His brief cameo in Heavyweights.
Oh God,
I don't remember him being.
I'm gonna have to rewatch Heavyweights. I didn't remember him being in there.
He's one of the original owners of Heavyweights, and then like he gets taken away from the mic at the end, and then he goes, a little word of advice: never let anyone sign your checks. It's got a huge laugh when I was a kid. But yeah, R.I.P. to Jerry Stiller, man.
Yeah.
Him, Little Richards, with some legends have been fucking
Little
passing
Richard
recently.
too, man. Oh, and he's going to be buried in Huntsville, I heard, by the way.
Oh, where is he from? Alabama?
No, he's from Macon, Georgia, but
the Georgia Peach. That's right. That's what his best of was called, the Georgia Peach.
Yeah, he's from Macon, Georgia, but he is. I think he spent a lot of time in North Alabama because he recorded a lot in Florence, and I think he must have had a house up there. My buddy Kyle Holly, his dad played in his band, so I guess he must have been based out of there. My favorite Little Richard thing, and I was trying to find this the other day when I found out he had passed because I wanted to post it, and it's really fucking hard to find. But VH1 did this thing in probably 2000 called like History of Rock and Roll, and it's like this 6-part miniseries where they talk about all the different eras of rock. And the first one, obviously, they cover Little Richard and Elvis and stuff like that. And they said like, Little Richard started off singing while he was washing dishes at a restaurant at a bus station in Macon, Georgia. Mm-hmm. And
he worked at a restaurant inside a bus station?
Inside a bus station.
Okay.
He was a dishwasher, and they...
I imagined an outside place at first, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah. Well, this has been like, late 40s, early 50s when the bus stations were like, huge. And
when they weren't for losers.
Right, yeah, exactly. When regular people rode the bus. But they said he would sing while he washed dishes and stuff like that. And the documentary is funny because they then cut to Joe Strummer from The Clash, and he goes, "Can you picture it? Little Richard, the greatest genius of the 20th century, washing dishes in a fucking bus station in Macon, Georgia." The way he says Macon, Georgia with such contempt is the funniest fucking thing ever to me. And I wish I could find it, but yeah, that's
It's such a douchey thing to say too.
Oh, it's so funny though.
Can you believe this guy had to fucking do a job like a normal person? That's disgusting.
Yeah. They're a little pretentious.
Especially from a punk rock band guy.
Yeah. It's just very funny the way he says it. Macon,
Georgia.
He hates it. We got more shit?
I watched Friday the 13th for the first time.
Oh, the OG.
It's great, yeah.
I didn't like it that much.
No?
It was kind of slow.
Yeah.
And it's shot very poorly.
And Jason's not really in it till the last shot.
Yeah, he's only in it for 5 seconds.
At the very end.
Yeah.
It was weird. I just realized I had never seen that one before. You know, like I'd seen some of the other ones on like TV and shit.
Yeah. I feel like I had that revelation probably 10 years ago. I was like, oh yeah, I'd never seen Friday the 13th, and I saw it and I was just like, okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely the least of all those like serial killer. I mean, some people would very much disagree with that.
Sure. Yeah.
I think when it comes to like Nightmare on Elm Street, so you can't really fuck with the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I'd have people who...
I will say...
I'm going to watch that. I've never seen that either.
I mean, I will say like...
the first one's great. Yeah.
Of the like kind of the, the three big ones, Freddy, Jason, and Michael Myers, Jason has the worst first movie. I
would say that Michael Myers has the best first
100%, yeah. And never made one that even touched it afterwards.
Best sequel, though, of all those, I would contend is Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Dream Warriors? Okay.
That goddamn Patricia Arquette.
Yeah,
yeah. Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I want to watch some more of those type of movies because, also I felt like that movie wasn't scary. And it's very campy, and I don't know if it was back then it was more acceptable for it to be that campy, or if it still was very campy, but like the whole old man, oh, you're gonna die.
Yeah. It's like the Pet Cemetery. Oh, not go down that road.
Yeah.
It's like that token character. Yeah, I don't know. It's like I think the influences of those horror movies are so ingratiated into the culture now that it's hard to find them scary in hindsight.
Yeah.
And everyone shit talks about like the new like tension building brand of horror where it's like it's not scary. It's like, yeah, but your butthole is clenched the entire time you watch something like that.
You don't know what's going to happen next. Wherein when you're watching like Friday the 13th, you know exactly what's going to happen next.
Because it's
it's like everybody's going to die. There's going to be one person left. They're going to kill the bad guy.
Right. Yeah.
End of movie.
Well, I've said before, like comedy and horror work almost exactly the same, and it's why like the sequels of every comedy movie and the sequels of every horror movie get less and less because you know the playbook.
Right. Yeah. Telling the same joke again. And it's also in a similar way. I said that if you listen to something like Richard Pryor is such a stolen from comedian. Oh, yeah.
That his shit, if you're listening to it in 2020, does not sound that revolutionary because you're like, but you realize that it just got co-opted into the language of comedy.
Yeah.
And just everybody just stole from him. And similar to all those early slasher movies, that just got absorbed into the way horror movies are made.
Absolutely. That's what speaks to how brilliant he is, though, because like now Richard Pryor just sounds like a really incredible comedian. Like he doesn't sound like the trailblazer he was until you realize he did this shit like 20 years before everyone else did.
He was doing this in like 1970.
Yeah, like he was doing that like a good 15 years before everyone else. So he just sounds like an incredible comedian by today's standard.
Yeah,
like he's still like super funny. Like
he is. Right. He would have got so canceled. He talks about in a special where he was like smoking crack and the cops had to come because his wife was trying to leave and he shot her car with a gun.
He does like.
And it's like hilarious, but you hear that and you're like, God damn, bro, you're a fucking monster.
Well, it's the whole thing is him airing it out to be to be honest about it, which is like a lot better than like some of these like news conferences that comedians put on now to be like, let's have a moment of silence for my sexual indiscretions, or what I mean? It's like he's fucking laughing about it, like
Aziz Ansari lights a candle on stage.
Yeah, I'd like to bum everyone out before we get started. Also, millennials suck. Like what?
Yeah. But also in fucking Friday the 13th, all the fucking dialogue is ADR. Right?
Oh, yeah.
What do you call it when it's like definitely dubbed in?
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's so fucking it's excruciating to listen to as like somebody who's mostly watched like modern movies.
Right.
Yeah.
And the sound effects are horrible. At one point a woman like is pulling up her underwear and like you can just see the band kind of like go up against her skin and there's just like a super loud like snap noise. Wait, what?
I was hoping it would be like a.
They're just like everything's like so overdone.
She like messes with her bra and it goes
to try to make it seem like the dialogue's not dubbed in. They put all like an excessive amount of bird noises in the background.
Yeah, it's like that movie itself is kind of a Halloween clone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Like that's the whole time I was thinking like this is just an inferior Halloween.
Yeah, it's Halloween but in the summer.
Yeah, I don't even did the series even take off until you saw more of Jason? I mean, like the series was it propelled on the strength of that first one?
That's a good question.
It was popular enough for there to be a second because I looked this up. There's a second one. Because the first one came out in 1980.
Yeah.
And by 1989, they had made 9 of them. So they were popular enough for like a new one to come out like every single year.
Every year,
My former roommate would tell you too that it really gets good in the sequels on like ironically enough. Like in the first like 5 movies afterwards, like they actually take some chances narratively and like their sequels are actually better than any of the other horror franchise
Yeah, I
sequels.
mean, Jason X, bro. They're in space.
That's when it like got laughable as
They're
shit.
in space.
That's I looked up lists of like the best Friday the 13th because I have watched the first one. I was like, that wasn't that great, but yeah, all the sequels are better.
Like
generally.
4's supposed to be good.
Yeah, the one where he goes to Manhattan.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah, that's supposed to be a good one.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna watch some more of those probably.
Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember having that like when it was a VHS tape, and
Yeah.
holding it in like Hollywood Video and being like, hoo.
there's like a snake coming out of the
Yeah, it's like this is like. I bet this is like. I bet they say fuck.
I had
this.
I had literally the exact same experience. We had a
Yeah.
video store called Movies and Munchies. Where I remember standing in Movies and Munchies, looking at that fucking cover and being like, "This is probably the scariest thing."
My
in-
mom
this
will
probably-
never let me rent this.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's true. She won't.
I have to wait for an irresponsible babysitter.
It was that movie, and then also the movie Frantic by Roman Polanski, because there's like a scene on the cover where Harrison Ford's kissing down this woman's chest, like on the cover of it. And I remember like holding it as a child and like looking around the corner to make sure no one caught me holding it. And, you know,
Video stores.
Man, but yeah, I did just have to wait for like I said, an irresponsible babysitter. And I remember we got one time, and my mom gave her money for like a pizza and a movie, and we went and we were like, and I remember we talked her into letting us get Predator. And my mom got so fucking pissed because we were like 7 or something. We
Because
were
it's just cursing and violence.
Yeah.
She didn't, want us to
titties
see,
even.
she didn't want us to see a rated R movie, you know. And then she found it in the VCR, and fucking, I don't think we ever.
I saw
had babysitter
Terminator
again.
2 when I was like 5.
Oh yeah.
I remember when I think my first R movie was G.I. Jane.
Oh, I'm sorry. You missed out on a lot of good stuff.
I mean, it was thrilling at the time. I mean, I was like 7, and I was over at someone's house, and I was like, "Oh my god, it's so violent." And they fuck a lot. She told that guy to suck her dick.
Is G.I. Jane violent? I don't remember. it
They
being
fight a lot
violent.
and curse a lot.
Yeah, my
She
first.
shaves her head. I remember they tried to market so much of the movie around that.
Oh yeah, that was the.
I remember
poster and
thinking
shit.
Viggo Mortensen was a real piece of shit because he beats the shit out of her, and then she kicks his ass, and then says "suck my dick" at him. I remember that when I was 7.
Well, that was like me. I watched Starship Troopers that was my first rated R movie. I
remember
watched in the theater. I had seen Speed on VHS. That was my first one. I saw the whole thing, at home, but in theater it was Starship Troopers. And it wasn't until years later that I was like, oh, this is like a fucking amazing movie. But at the time I was like, dude, bugs and fucking boobs.
I mean,
and
that was-
fucking blood.
That was like kid lore. That's like that shower scene.
Oh god,
You're gonna see like so many boobs.
yeah. And
I remember like that, like being told, like kids telling me like it was weed or like it was drugs or something, being like, if you get your hands on a copy of Starship Troopers, I'm telling you, it's like heads exploding and boobs.
and just wait till you see fucking
The giant asshole monster that eats people's brains.
I was gonna say, just wait till you see Gary Busey's son's teeth.
Oh God, those chompers on Jake Busey. God, yeah, those are it's like Val Kilmer in Top Gun, but every time he closes his mouth.
Yeah. Oh boy, that shower scene.
Yeah.
Just boobs and teeth.
How can you forget?
I saw it years later. I didn't see Starship Troopers when I was a kid. I saw it like years later. So I wasn't like all horned up and ready to see that shower scene. I was just like, that's all right movie.
Yeah, it's fun, I guess. I haven't seen it in a long time. As a kid, I loved it.
Yeah.
It was my fucking prayer of the roller boys, you know? Just because I saw it when I was a kid, I was like, this is fucking great.
Oh, as a kid, it would have rocked my world. But like, it's like you see it as a stoned adult, and you're like, it's like kind of cool political allegory. And you're like, man, I should have seen this when I was 8. Oh my god.
Well, yeah. Is that a show?
I think so.
Yeah.
All right. Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rivers Langley.
Find me at Twitter, Slam Harder, YouTube, LA Comedy Life. I got more videos in the works.
Oh, I can't
Come
wait.
check it out.
Yes. Twitter and Instagram, Carter_Glasscock.
All right, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Well, it's Saturday night and I took my place. Who's about my money?